Hey, my name's Jamie Miller, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I am hanging out with Jamie Miller here in LA. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You've had quite a great past couple weeks.
Yeah.
Back in the Philippines.
Yes,
which is awesome.
It was honestly like the most crazy experience of my life, going on to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And like hearing like thousands of screaming fans for you is like wild, but yeah, it was wild to say the least.
It's a different experience for sure, right? Like the way that they listen to music, the way that they welcome the artists.
Exactly. And I think
it's just insane.
all of them can sing too, like amazingly. So like you just, when you're on stage, you don't want to hit a bum note. But yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now you went back there. You went from being a contestant on The Voice to now being a guest on The Voice in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So coming back on that stage, what was that experience like for you?
Honestly, it was a full circle moment. I think I've always dreamed of doing that.
Yeah.
So it was like a bucket list. And it was like cool because when I was on The Voice, Jennifer Hudson was my coach.
Yeah.
And I texted her and I was like, I'm going back on as a guest. And she was like, yeah, baby.
That's so cool.
But no, it was really cool. Yeah, it was like one of those moments that I needed this year to be like, whoa, you're doing it again. So.
And then it was a long time coming for this collaboration with Stell from SB19.
Yeah.
Which, everybody had already been reaching out to you couple years ago about him covering your song, and then now you guys get to perform it together. How did you guys come about and kind of practice that song together and figure out who sings what during this session?
So yeah, that was a long awaited collaboration, but with Stell and me doing that performance, that was like the first time we ever did it.
Wow.
Like our teams just sent like us pieces of paper on which parts we do, and the minute I got on that stage, that was my sound check as well. So
wow.
Yeah, it was fun though. He's amazing, and like he took the song to such new levels that helped me, and I just wanted to help him too. I think he's incredible.
Yeah, and I love that you're kind of breaking barriers, because that's not the first Filipino artist that you've kind of added to your music.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, how did you first really discover these Filipino artists to add to your songs, and what was that experience like, kind of recording songs together?
I think for me, I've always been such a fan of like huge vocalists, and I used to watch like the Wish buses, which is huge in the Philippines, and I came across Moira, and I think she was so talented. And when we were looking for people to feature on my songs this year, the Philippines is one of my biggest listening bases, and I just really want to like include the people that changed my life in that story. And I think when Moira said yes and we started chatting, and then she sent me a verse, I was just blown away that this was even a thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's very surreal. Like, I'm just a normal kid from Cardiff that is somehow doing this now, and I'm just blown away that I get to call this my life. So yeah.
You also allowed her to kind of create her own verse on the song as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you talk to me a little bit about that, and like how it was like being able to let someone else, like after the song has been released, let someone else kind of add something to it?
I think for me, like, if anybody relates to the song, that's really amazing. But like putting your own verse on it, like into your own story and like your feelings as well, I think is super special. So I just wanted to give her that moment I know she related to the song, and I know she's had a past with heartbreak, and I was like, do your thing. And I feel like anything you do is going to be right.
Yeah.
So I think that's when I just felt like she deserved this by her own lyrics,
Yeah, and for those wondering, the song is titled Maybe Next Time.
Maybe Next
and
Time.
It's just such an incredible song. Like,
Thank you.
your vulnerability level is like through the roof on this EP that you've released, and that's where this song is also in.
Thank you.
But dive me into that creative process of kind of opening up and just being just being raw throughout this whole recording and writing session.
Yeah, I think for me, last year was a really rough year for me personally. I feel like once you have some sort of success in this music industry, it's followed by you have to have the next hit and the next hit and the next hit. Right. And I was just going through some personal stuff that took a while, and I felt like for this project coming back, because I took a year off music, I just really wanted to give the best version of myself and like tell people that I was broken and I did get better. It's like I just didn't want to play perfect because life's not perfect, and we all go through our stuff, and we all relate to sad music, happy music, but I just wanted to be genuinely, you're going to hear me at my rock bottom, and you're going to hear me at my best. And I feel like that's what this EP was about. Like, knowing that it's okay not to be okay, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
And when you kind of open up on a level like that, like I feel like it's very important to pick the right producer for this session or for this moment.
For sure.
What was it about your producer that you felt like was the right one for this EP?
Honestly, my producers, I work with Colin and Alex. They're a duo here in Los Angeles, and then this guy called Adam Yeron, all amazing. And I think this was the first time I really clicked with the people that I've worked with. And I also think it's because like I felt so open for the first time going into these sessions that it made it easier for the both of us. And I think there was, when we were producing the songs, there was no other person I wanted to take it to, because it was just so raw and so special that I felt like it didn't need to go to like a A-list producer. I was like, these are the people that are going to make it special because we care about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Now you already were challenging yourself with like opening up and being so vulnerable with this piece of music, with this body of work. How else did you feel like you challenged yourself, like vocally, especially because I feel like now that there's more of a emotional aspect to the music, I feel like it's a lot harder to kind of control when you're singing certain notes.
For sure.
So was there like a particular moment that you felt like you were really like pushing the hardest to be able to be okay during that process?
Yeah, I feel like obviously I've always been a perfectionist, and I've always wanted to push myself, and I feel like some reason like the internet likes my voice, and I'm like, okay, now they're like telling me that I should hit a higher note and do a higher note, and I'm like, I think it's a more of a feeling than like just like trying to say like I hit an A, B or whatever. But I think for sure there was some challenging moments, but I think having like a team that hypes you up and makes you feel that you're so good and like you're invincible is like something that I've really like leaned into, and like leaned on the people that support me. So I don't know, like obviously there's some challenging notes. I'm a male singer and I'm singing girl notes, but it's fun. I love it.
Were there any moments where you were kind of questioning whether or not to release certain lyrics or certain songs because they were maybe too deep or just too raw for you?
Yeah, the intro.
That intro hit me.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, I was like, man, like this voice note.
It was rough because that was real. Like I used to send my mom voice notes because I went through a really hard year, and I felt like the only thing that got me through was me and my mom voice noting back to each other to let me know that everything's gonna be okay. As cliche as it sounds, it was like one of the things that really got me through that dark time. And I was nervous because like you can hear that I was crying in it, but I felt like it just felt so right to include that in it. Yeah. Because I wanted people to like honestly see that like I was broken and I was pretending to the world that I was amazing and I was traveling the world and I was doing these tours, but I was just broken inside, and it was like the most horrible feeling. But really glad that I'm out of it now. But it was tough for a while. Yeah.
And the fact that you are like, you, as you mentioned, you're broken, but yet you're still going through this process. Like, what was it about like this process that still kept you going, no matter like the trials and tribulations that you basically kind of kept facing?
I feel like I didn't want to feel like I was giving up, and I feel like I was put in certain positions to just give up. Yeah. And I didn't want to, and I felt like it's been my dream to be a singer ever since I was a little kid. So to get this far and then to give it all up, it would have been so stupid. So even though it was really hard, like I just hung in there and kept my family and friends close and got out of it by the grace of God, and just kept going. Yeah.
Did you have a moment during this process, the recording or the writing process, where you weren't sure if a certain song was going to make it, and which song was that and why?
I don't know if I didn't think a song could make it, because like I've written so many, but I felt like I was nervous like teasing them, because I was like I feel like this deserves to be heard. Yeah. But it's been like the reaction to everything has been phenomenal, and I'm very grateful that it's had the reaction that it's had. So yes, I feel like everything happened the way it was meant to.
You kind of touched on something, mentioning like teasing songs. I feel like since you were first on The Voice to now, I feel like social media has grown so much, especially in the music industry, where, you know, some artists tease something that has never been finished before, and then all of a sudden it's a hit, and now they have to finalize it. Like, but at the same time, I feel like it's also challenging, because if your fans like something, right, it's kind of hard to release something else that doesn't sound like the same thing, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
How has social media like impacted you in your career so far?
It's been challenging. I feel like it's still growing and still changing, adapting. And I feel like for me, it's more so like you have to listen to the fans now, because there used to be a system where like a major label would come in and
Yeah.
they would like force you to listen to the songs and then they'd become hits. But now it's just up to like you and your audience, which is scary, but also like it's the first time in my life, and I guess a lot of artists' life, that we're in charge of the whole show.
Yeah.
And we can do whatever we want. We can market ourselves the way we want to market ourselves without someone telling me you should have this color hair and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I think there's there's a good and bad way to it, because like if one of your favorite songs doesn't blow up, then it doesn't see the light of day. But
I feel like that's a hit to the heart.
yeah, so I feel like that's the tough part. But I feel like it's like honestly the best position artists are in right now, being in charge of your own music, your own destination. And I feel like you have to keep those fans close to be like, come on, we're on the same team, you know? So yeah, for sure.
Now, diving back to maybe next time, this was the one song that you chose to do like alternate versions of the song. What was it about this song that you wanted to do alternate versions? And I also want to dive in and talk about that collaboration with Young K.
Yeah.
Because that's another incredible
You're
artist from Day 6, which is like, I mean, you're working with artists that I'm genuinely a fan of.
Yeah, I love that.
So it's kind of cool, and it's like two different worlds colliding. Like, it's really awesome.
Yeah. So with Maybe Next Time, that was one of my favorite songs I wrote last year. And I think for me, having the reaction that I had on TikTok and Instagram and like all these social media platforms, I was like, there's clearly an audience for this song. And I feel like I just wanted to delve into different people on the song, and I think Young K and Moira really brought the versions to life, and I think they're absolutely incredible artists. And I don't know, I just really think it's so special when something works that you love as well. And I feel like it was resonating with my audience, and it was also resonating with me, and I was just so excited. And I didn't want it to stop going, but I was like, okay, maybe enough collaborations on this song. But no, I felt really good about it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of the SB19 fans are rooting for you. Let's say rooting for you. Listen to the EP, you'll understand that meaning. But I feel like a lot of the SB19 fans are rooting for you guys to kind of collaborate and team up together.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be? And like, do you see an opportunity for that, whether it's like the group as a whole or maybe just something with Stell himself?
Honestly, I think the boys are so talented. I would definitely do something with them. Stell, especially, I think he's incredible. His vocals are not normal, and I think it was just like everything happened so organically. So fans were rooting for the situation anyway. But yeah, I would love to do something, and maybe one day.
Yeah.
We'll do something.
That would be amazing. Well, I'm excited for this EP. I'm excited to see what 2024 has for you.
Thank you, man.
Jamie, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Before you let us go, during this whole moment of recording or writing the EP, what was the special moment that you felt like you had? Or better yet, what was something that you learned about yourself during this process?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say something that I learned about myself is that I'm stronger than I thought I was. And like going into a session and you're with dudes all the time, and I think I was put in positions where I was like, okay, I can't cry today, but I was crying a lot of the time writing the CP. But I think it was like cool to like realize that everybody's got your back in this process, and it's music that people want to hear. So I think that was like the one thing that I learned. It's okay to like show your emotions in front of people. And yeah. No.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations, Jamie. You guys be sure to check out Jamie Miller. The Things I Left Unsaid is out now. Thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.
Let's go.